Bum, 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 bum. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to welcome everybody for another episode of the Hope for Romantic podcast. I'm your boy, Dropping Dimes, aka the Hope for Romantic, aka the feminist with chauvinist tendencies. I want to welcome everybody today. We got a really cool show. Um, a lot of times when I go on, I have either topics off of the top of my head or topics somebody has brought up, or I talk about maybe I'll have a guest. Very few times is it a topic that I've actually written on where I actually went deep. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to talk about male censorship. You're probably like, what does that mean? What is that? Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. The title of today's episode is called I Wanted Pizza, She Gave Me Steak. Called I Wanted Pizza, She Gave Me Steak. And we're gonna start it like this. Would you rather hear an ugly truth or a beautiful lie? I'm sure everyone will rush to say the ugly truth. I'm sure that for you, sometimes it's a beautiful lie. Let's take it to the very beginning. What I wanted to talk about is how different male female communication is. Now, as people listen, especially if women listen, they're going to say, oh, but what about, how come, what about? Hey, listen, if you want to come on here and talk about the female perspective on communication, that's perfectly fine. That's okay. But I'm going to give you the male today. And that's what I'm going to stick to. I'm going to stick to how men, we censor ourselves in our daily lives. And we do so with a reason. There's a purpose behind it. Some of you may be listening and thinking, not my husband, not my husband. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. So men and women are different. And over the years, I've tried to pinpoint why that is. In this episode, I hope to give you a glimpse into the mind of a man in a loving relationship. I'm sure at some point, plenty of you women have looked at your man, right? Just sat back and looked at your man and wondered, what is he thinking? Truth is, even when you have an idea, there's a gap between what men want and what women think we want. If a man can be brutally honest and say what's on his mind, there's a chance a woman would consider it crude or tasteless. So men all over the world censor themselves and frame certain conversations to cater to their mates. It's funny, right? Because I'm saying this, and I guarantee you, there's guys thinking to themselves, "Yo, Mike, what are you doing, man? Come on, bro! Don't spill the beans. Don't, I'm just trying to keep a happy home." And I respect that, but I just want to, I just want to kind of go out. I just wanted to go on a tangent on this particular subject because I have a lot of thoughts on it. Think of it like this. Okay, I'll give you an example. Your man comes home and he says, I want pizza. A woman will have no hesitation saying, but I made steak. Even if a even if a man is not in the mood for steak, he expresses how grateful he is and he eats it. After all, in the hierarchy of food, steak is considered a much higher ranking food. It's a small example, but can it be applied to many areas of relationship? So let's be clear. This episode, right, is not about what's right or what's fair. It's about what is. I don't expect women to change the way they interact with their mates. After all, what after all, what they often do is usually what a man needs, and that's fine, right? This is more so talking on. I'm sure you've all heard people say, "Oh, that's locker room talk," or "Boys will be boys," and the way we talk to each other and the shit we say to each other. The truth is, when you're talking to a woman, right, and Yo, even a woman that's a friend, you may go off the rails a little bit with her, but for the most part, even if you're in a loving relationship, you're in a relationship, and you can't say exactly what you want to say. You can't. I know women will be like, "No, I want my husband to be honest." Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Okay, so think of it like this: as a young man, you wanted a sports car. As you got older and had children, it didn't make sense anymore. So your mate convinced you to buy a minivan. The minivan is what's best. It's the right thing to do. Yet deep inside, you would love to be able to hit the gas and take off on a sports car. You see, this episode is not about catering to a man's desires. It's about understanding that those desires exist. They're real. It's like it doesn't make a man a bad person. So let's go back to the example of the steak. Guys are simple, right? Guys are simple. Let's say we're simple, and I wanted a pizza today. I didn't, and I get home and you cooked a beautiful steak. I would be considered a jerk, a brute, ungrateful if I actually told you the truth. Being, damn, I wasn't in the mood for steak. I wanted pizza. I'd be an asshole if I did that, right? Well, men do that in all aspects of the relationship. They curve it. So what happened? Whatever the woman serves, they look at it and say, "Okay, I could say something right now, or I can be happy." And that's what a lot of times these guys are choosing between. They're choosing between telling you how they really feel and being happy. You know what I mean? And being at peace. At the end of the day, that's what we search for. It's that peace. So if I tell you how I really feel and I create chaos, that none of us wins. But if you tell me something, then I kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I like it. I love it. We've all been there. It's time to go out. Everybody's dressed up. And your lady looks at you. Do I look fat? Let's, Gentlemen, is there any other answer but no? Is there any other answer but no? You would be out of your mind to tell me that there was another answer but no. This is not. Okay? You kind of have to, even if she's looking, now you may try to oh babe, looks, maybe this looks better, stuff like that. But you can't look at her and be like, no, your back fat is sticking out. You can't. So let's not pretend like, you want to hear the ugly truth. No woman wants to sit there and be like, yeah, babe, you look huge. You look like shit. Nobody wants that. So let's not sit here and act like, oh, I want my man to be honest. You're lying. You're lying. And if you feel like you're telling the truth, cool. By all means, we'll have an episode of strictly women on here telling us what they hinder and the way they block themselves and censor themselves when they talk. Okay. Women across the globe complain about their husband's lack of communication. Many don't understand that the longer he is quiet, the longer the filtering process. I always say this, man. Do you really want to know what's on my mind? Do you really want to know what's on my mind? And I say to myself, no, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to some shit. Right? I'm gonna make it personal. I'll bring it to myself. I've been in situations where, let's say I have to go to the hospital. And somebody will be like, oh, why didn't you tell me you had to go to the, oh my God, that's such a big deal. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I know that it was a 1, 2, 3 thing. I know I was going to take care of this, and that. I know exactly how this goes. Let me go handle it and come out. Right? No, I want to know the truth. What am I telling you the truth for? I'm telling you the truth for what? So those 3 days that I'm in, that really nothing is going on, nothing's wrong. You're home stressing. You're home bugging out. I'll give you another example. It's like you go outside, you go to turn your car on. Your car doesn't turn on. Imagine this. You come running inside. Oh, babe, we need a new car. That's it. It's over. The car won't start. Oh, man. And you start. It's a catastrophe. Everything is disaster. That's it. We need a new car. It's over. Only to find out that your car needs a battery. Only to find out you ran out of gas. You know what I'm saying? How stupid would you look? So what we men do is we chew the meat, spit out the bones, right? We cut the fat off of a lot of problems before we bring it to our significant other. All right. And a lot of times we have a process. And our process says, you're the person I trust, you're the person that I love. You're gonna get this problem. It's gonna come to you. It's gonna land on your lap. I'm gonna bring it to you, I promise. But first, let me see what I can handle. Let me see what levels of stress I can help you avoid. Now you're gonna have women be like, "No, but you have to stop underestimating me. I'll be there for you." Yeah, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. It's for a selfish reason. Selfish reasons. Selfish reasons being, let me not bring the problem right now because I'll hear the nagging and the pain and the complaining and the sad right now. How about I wait? I trim the fat on this problem. I figure out what I can handle, what I can't handle. And when it gets to a point where I can't handle anymore, I'm going to come to you. A lot of issues men have with women is they want us to come to them on their timeline when they're ready to talk. And the truth is, no, we have our own timeline. And this is how it looks, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I can, for people that have the visual. This is my process. This is my girl, or this is whatever, my lady. I'm going through my process, and here she comes. Talk to me. Talk to me. You don't talk to me. You don't talk to me. What essentially did she do? She just pushed me right back to the beginning. She pushed me right back to the beginning where now I have to sit down and reprocess everything because the energy she came with, that's the energy I'm trying to avoid already. So I'm like, damn, she's already excited. Let me really get this figured out. But we come to you on our timeline. That's the point of it. We come to you on our timeline. We're not coming to you on your timeline, which is one of the big miscommunications. Because when we come to you on your timeline, a lot of times we're not saying how we feel, right? We're not being vulnerable. We're not saying how we really feel. We're saying what we think you want to hear. We're saying what keeps the peace in the house. We're saying what avoids the fight. And I feel like a lot of guys, let's put it like this. I'm offering this as a cautionary tale. Be careful what you wish for. Many of you will hear this, turn to your partner, right? This is the best part of it. Are going to turn to your partner and be like, not my husband. And I hear it already. I hear the echoes. Not my husband, not mine. Because everybody thinks their husband is the exception to the rule. Every single one of you thinks your husband is the exception to the rule. And the truth is, he's not. You're going to turn to him and you're like, do you do that? Do you censor yourself? Do you feel like you can't? And he's going to look at you with this dog. No, baby. No. I communicate with you. I talk to you, baby. What is he doing? Preserving the peace. What if he looks at you and goes, hell no, I can't talk to you, man. Nah, man, you know me. And really gives you the real answer. That'll be a fight. Or at least a 25-minute conversation that he's not ready for. You know what I mean? So instead, again, right now, turn to your partner and ask him, do you censor yourself? Or do you tell me the absolute truth? Do you tell me everything? He's going to look at you and say, no, baby, I tell you the truth. Of course he's going to tell you that. But the truth is, he's not. It doesn't make him a bad person. It literally does not make him a bad person. It's just the way we are. It's the way we are. It's like, I saw this comedian back in the day, Patrice O'Neal. It was the funniest shit ever, man. He had me dying laughing, this guy. And he talks about how men and women communicate. And we talk to each other different. You know what I'm saying? I could talk to you about nonsense and to another guy about nonsense, and he'll reply with nonsense. And we'll just have a nonsensical conversation about BS. Where if you approach a woman with nonsense, she's going to have a million questions like, why? And I believe the joke, but I hope I'm not butchering it. He says, go to your best friend and ask him, would you have a sex with a girl with no nose? And then go ask your girl, would you have a sex with a guy with no nose? So the guy goes up to his best friend. He goes, yo, man, would you have sex with a girl with no nose? And his boy looks him dead in the face and goes, does she have a body? Like, is she just only missing the nose? She got nice hair? What she look like? Like, is she sweet? He has a million and one nonsensical questions attached to that statement, right? And they have a conversation. It's a big laugh. No big deal. You approach your girl with that same, hey, babe, would you have sex with a man with no nose? No nose? Why doesn't he have a nose? Why would somebody have sex with a guy with no nose? Oh my God, why would you ask me that? That's so stupid. A guy with no, where do you think? And all of a sudden it goes into this whole thing about you're immature and you're whatever, right? Perfect example. This is the example I'm talking about. These are the kind of things that, yo, look, you don't want to hear from us. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that we think about. There's arguments about sports and nonsense that we have with each other, right? Over minuscule stats and little things and nuances and players and rankings and whatever. That if we sat there with you, you'd kind of be like into it for a little bit. But as soon as we got ridiculous, you kind of shut us down. You would shut us down. See, men will tell you what they want, but in a way that preserves peace and it preserves the peace and the sanity that he has in his home and that he craves in his home. See, we appear to be simple creatures on the surface. We don't need much from a woman to be happy. We have all heard the old cliche, be his peace. It's an oversimplification of what men want and need in a relationship. The truth is, there's one contributing factor that, above all else, affects men's decisions. It is the woman in his life. Within the context of a healthy relationship, men learn that their mate's happiness has a direct effect on the energy in their home. Men then tame important areas such as communication, sex, and dealing with stress to keep stable energy in the home. Imagine for a second a man asks for what he wants in its rawest form. Immediately, it will create a disconnect between him and his mate because her needs do not align with what men want. They align with what men settle for. So there was a lot said in that little paragraph. We cannot ask you for exactly what we want. We cannot, right? Because if what we're asking for doesn't align with what you need and what you want out of life, you're going to look at us like, hell no. Just no. No. Right? So what guys will do is there's what we absolutely want, what we would love, and then there's what our girl gives us. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times what our girl gives us is better. I'm not saying it's not an improvement. I'm not saying it's not better. It is. It's an improvement. It's better. It makes our lives better. Like it goes to the title of the segment of the episode. I wanted pizza. She gave me steak. Our life is simple. You know, we can have some pizza, enjoy whatever. She brings us steak. I wasn't in the mood for steak, but you know what? Steak on the hierarchy of food is a better food, right? It's a more expensive food. It takes longer to prepare, all that, right? So you have a good steak. Now, essentially, she made your life better, right? She gave you a better quality meal. She gave you something better, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about right and wrong. We're not talking about whether what she's doing for us is better or makes our life better. I'm just giving you the inside baseball, the back door. Like, hey, listen, believe it or not, man, you know, we have to censor ourselves left and right. We do. See, let's explore the gap between what men want and what you offer and how he compromises. Let's talk about what silence means to him and why there is nothing to worry about. I will take you on a journey into the process of how men deal with problems and what they need from you during that time. I hope to shed light on the difference between men and women in the areas of sex, food, and, and peace in the home. All to give you a sneak peek into how he feels. See, let's talk sex. Let's talk sex. And again, I'm talking sex, and I don't care if your man is a 1 minute man. I don't care if your man can't even perform. That's not what I'm talking about here. You'll probably be like, what? He's asking for what? He can't even handle me. I get it. That's not what we're talking about here. All we're talking about is the difference in level of communication between and the disconnect between what men want, what women think we want, and what we decide to say, all right, cool. You know what? I love her. So this is cool with me. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, I was telling me about a date he had. He goes out with this girl. He'd been seeing her for a while, and they were talking crazy over the phone. They were talking nasty. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They're talking all that nonsense. And he's like, yo, cool, you know? And she's like, I'm going to wear an outfit for you. Watch. I'm going to wear an outfit for you. I got something. And she's like gassing it up. Like, he's like, oh shit, she's going to do the damn thing. He talks about how he shows up to the hotel. And when she comes out, he was like, yo, I felt like I was taking a girl's virginity on her wedding night. She had on this long lace gown and this beautiful robe that went over it. And I was like, yeah, I think there was a miscommunication here because I wanted nasty. You gave me sexy. And then what is he going to do in that moment? Well, no, I don't like it. No, of course not. Again, he senses himself and says, all right, I'll take it. Thank you. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate what you're doing. You know what I mean? That's how we react. That's how the gap is filled. Okay? The gap is filled by men understanding that we're being assholes, understanding that we're being ungrateful. And what we say is, oh, okay. So, okay, yeah, I'll take that. I love you. So I'll take anything. You know what I'm saying? This is cool. This is cool. Now, why did I tell that story, right? I tell that story because let's talk about like the disconnect that they were having. And I know a lot of women out there are gonna be like, no, not me. I dress sexy for my man. Yo, cool. God bless you, man. That's dope. I love it. But here's the deal. How many of you do go to a strip joint anywhere USA? What those girls are wearing on stage, that's usually very close to what he's looking for. Usually very close. Oh, Mike, but that's tasteless. That has no, oh my God, it's so cheap and no. Cool. Hey, you could hear the truth, or I could lie to you and be like, no, that long nightgown that you're wearing with the, yeah, that's Birkin for him. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. And I understand one of the conversations I have is to explain when I talk to men is I explain to them, I'm like, here's what you have to understand. When a woman shops for lingerie, right, or she's shopping for something sexy for you, it's not really for you first. It's not for you first. Because the most important thing in that interaction is how she feels about herself. So she has to feel sexy. Okay. So when she goes out and buys lingerie, she's going to buy things that highlight what she feels are her best assets, what hide her insecurities, the areas that she's insecure about. And they put her in a position where she could kind of feel sexy. Cool, right? Now, that's healthy, man. That's what you want, you know. And when a guy sees that and he loves you, it's cool. All right, nice. Yeah, yeah. You know what, babe? I love it. I love it. I wanted pizza, but you know what? You gave me steak. Cool. Thank you. I love it. This is perfect. I'll take it. But the truth be told, here's the thing: we're not talking about a majority of the time. We're talking about for split seconds. Literally for split seconds, when he sees you, he's like, "That's not what I." Okay, hey, you know what? Cool. I'm just happy to be. Thank you, baby. Thank you for the effort. Thank you that you're trying to be sexy. Thank you for trying to help satisfy me. All that. So it's literally for a split second that these thoughts come into your head that you're like, yeah, but I wanted. Ah, man, that's not the way I had this pictured in my head. Literally for a split second. And we're not talking about how men feel all the time, right? So like I could sit here and I could talk to you. This is it goes back to the analogy about the minivan and the sports car. In the beginning, you wanted a sports car. That's what you wanted to drive. You like to go fast. Then you started having kids, and you realized, yo, maybe an SUV or a minivan makes more sense, right? And she convinces you, hey, listen. And then you drive it, and you realize, oh, a minivan with 3 kids, this works out perfect. Oh, this is easy. I like this. I actually enjoy it. You know what I mean? It does not mean that for a split second you don't wish, damn, I wish I could have gotten in that sports car. You know what I mean? Or damn, I wish one weekend she would just rent a sports car for me so I can go whip that shit down the highway. It doesn't mean that, but for the most part, you understand. See, when I talk about the great miscommunication, it's literally just split seconds. It's very little bit of time where a man has to make that decision between, like I said, I come knocking at the door and I wanted pizza. I want pizza bad. And I open the door and I smell it. Yo, you cook steak and rice and beans and you made a whole meal. I walk in for that split second. I may have felt like I want to pee, and then I'm like, oh shit, she made steak. Cool, it's over. And I'll sit there and I'll enjoy the steak and I'll love the steak and it'll be the best thing I ever ate. You know what I mean? And I won't think about the pizza, right? But it doesn't mean that thought wasn't crossing through my head. It doesn't mean that sometimes we're not just that simple and that just that easy. What do you call it? One of the things we talk to people about is what silence means. And I want to go back to that. I want to go back to how a lot of times when we're quiet, when guys are quiet, it's like a dagger to a woman. And she does not understand, why is he not talking to me? Why is he giving me the silence? Why is he being that way? And I'm trying to tell you, hey, listen, man, sometimes it's intentional because we're being passive aggressive. We're being passive aggressive. Yeah, I give you that. But a lot of times, the silence means nothing. A lot of times, that silence is just us in our head thinking about just random stuff. And I always say, I know why a lot of women get upset when their husband is quiet, because they equate him being quiet to them being quiet. And when they do that, they realize, oh shit, when I'm quiet, that's not a good thing. That means I'm done complaining. I'm tired. I'm over it. And I'm mentally checking out. So you kind of automatically put that label on him. And you start to say to yourself, oh, he must be mentally checking out. He must be out of here. That's it. Like I don't see him sharing. I don't see him talking. I don't see him, coming to me with anything viable, and he's in his head. No, I could tell you right now, and you could ask that. You could turn to and ask your husband, "Hey, man, when you're quiet, what are you usually thinking about?" "Oh, I don't know, fantasy football." "What are you usually thinking about?" I don't know. You hungry?" It's normally something very simple. If it gets to the point where now I'm thinking about something more serious, and let's say I'm in my process, and you start to ask me that question, just understand that every time you ask me that question, you're jump starting my process all over again. You're delaying. You're delaying me being able to come to you with what's going on in my mind. If I could give you anything, especially the women, is don't expect him to come to you on your timeline. Don't push your timeline. Your timeline is I want to talk, and no, now you want to talk or you don't want to talk. No, listen to me. Don't force your timeline. I promise I'm going to come to you. You're the woman that I love. You're the woman that I'm vulnerable with. You're the woman that I share everything with. That when I lay my head on my pillow at night, you're the one that I talk to. All right. You're the one that gets all that. Right. So what makes you think that at some point I'm not going to come to you? And it's not about what you can handle. We respect it. Hey, if I told you today, and yeah, but why have us both stress something that we don't know the answer to yet? Why have us both stress about something that could be nothing? Let me hold that. And then when I come to you, that means it's something. It's not too late. it means I've already done A, B, C, D to try to fix it, and it's out of my hands. So now I have to come to you, to a second set of hands, and be like, and eyes, and be like, yo, can we look at this with a fresh pair of eyes, and all over again? So what's the end game? That's up to you. Information we have gathered can help you be strategic when approaching your relationship. It will allow you to tap into areas of the brain he has been keeping from you, freeing him to communicate, express fantasies, and let you into his process. It creates an honest flow of energy that, in the end, keeps your relationship healthy. Men don't want fantasy all the time. Most of the time, you are perfect just the way you are. It's now and then he wishes he could venture off into selfish fantasy land. This episode is not about most of the time. It's about that small percentage and his real thoughts. Every man has them. Thoughts that are not laced with sensitivity. Every guy has them. Every guy has those moments where, and it's funny because when we talk to each other, we don't have to be sensitive and we don't have to be conscious of how the other person is receiving it sometimes. We can just say it. Yo, you did da, bam, take that. Oh, word. If I don't like it, I come back. That kind of interaction. Whereas if you say something that's not laced with sensitivity to your girl, you look like a brute. You look like a brute. You look insensitive, like you don't care. You know what I mean? So now you have to choose. Do you want the raw, honest truth? Or do you want me to be sensitive, lace my comments with sensitivity, be open with you in a way where your emotions are my priority? Which one is it? You gotta ask yourself again. What is it? Do you want the beautiful? Do you want the ugly truth, or do you want the beautiful lie? You know, a lot of people are, like I said, a lot of people are looking at their husband like, I want the truth. No, you don't. No, you don't. The minute he has to add sensitivity, the minute he has to add that layer of consideration, that emotional balance for you so that you don't get upset or he doesn't hurt your feelings, just know that's a form of male censorship. I censored myself. And believe it or not, it doesn't always come out. I'm not saying that every guy's a jerk or a dick and he's gonna come and just say some random shit that's so messed up. No, 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 that's not what I mean. What I mean is that sometimes, and this is where I am a feminist with chauvinist tendencies. I know that. And if I catch shit on this one, I'll catch shit. Every guy knows when they have a girl in their life, a woman in their life, that will tell you 2 + 2 = 5 because 4 hurt their feelings. Every guy knows who that girl is in his life. And there's one, a lot of guys have them. So you have to, if you come with straight facts, you could be 100% factual, but your facts were not laced in sensitivity. Her emotional well-being was not kept on the forefront. The way you said it to her was not sensitive to what she needs. Bro, she doesn't give a shit. They don't give a damn. They want the beautiful lie. The beautiful lie is, oh, let me add some sensitivity. Let me add some sweetness to it. Let me add some, like, hey, babe, how do I look in this dress? Oh, babe, you know what? I love the way, and you completely ignore what you don't like and point out, oh, you know what? I love the way your thighs look in that dress. You didn't lie. You just kind of redirected to the point where, hey, let me talk to her about something that I can, something sensitive, something sweet. Let me not be a dick. Let me not talk about that bump that's hanging out the back of her neck. No, let me not talk about that. Let me ignore that. Hey, no, baby, this. And women will be like, oh, but I want the truth. You don't want me walking outside. Da da da. No, no, no. I can care less about that. You know what I care about? I care about peace in my home. I care about not having to sleep on the couch tonight. I care about not having a fight 2 days from now because of a conversation we had 2 days ago about your dress. That's what I really care about. So when I come to you and I'm censoring myself, understand that I'm doing it for both of us. You know what I mean? I just wanted to point out this episode is about pointing out that it exists, right? Again, it's not about whether it's right to do it or not. It's not about whether any of that. It's just about the fact that men do it, and we do it in our everyday lives all across the board when it comes to our women. All across the board. You know, on a Sunday afternoon, the game's about to come on. You want to go to Bed Bath and Beyond? Could I tell you what I really want to say? Can I tell you in that moment what I really want to say? What I really want to say is, so you waited till I poured my beer, sat my ass down, turned the TV on. You knew I wasn't going to do shit for the rest of the day. And then you decided, let's go to Bed Bath and Beyond. Is that what you say? And then now I'm the angry person. I'm wrong. Oh, you're mean. You shouldn't do that. Da da da. Now I'm that guy, right? Okay, cool. What you want to say is, oh, okay, babe, can we go either a little earlier or a little later? Can we? You want to hear this compromise? You want to hear, okay, can we get back though because the game is on? You want to hear all this other nonsense? In that moment, if he can give you what he really wants to give you, trust me, you want him to censor himself. You want him to be whatever. Like I go back to talking about sex, man. I talk about sex. Yo, a lot of times guys want nasty. And I don't mean nasty as in real sexy and like, no, I mean nasty, nasty. I know what some of my friends watch on porn. I know. Trust me, some of them want nasty. You know what I mean? And your girl gives you sexy, maybe a little dirty, maybe a little crazy, but very rarely does she give you nasty. And again, you want to know what nasty is? Go to any strip joint USA. But you wanted to buy that nice Victoria's Secret that highlighted your breast and your covered your stomach and put on and showed this asset and da 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 da. He's sitting there thinking like, damn, I'd love to see my wife in a pair of crotchless panties, bro, and just rip them shits off. Or you know what? F that. Just give me a thong. Like that. That's what he's thinking. He's not. But God forbid you walk into a room, all settled in, all beautiful, all sexy. You don't want to hear that ugly truth. You want him to say right away, "Oh my God, you look amazing. Oh my God, you look so beautiful." So for that reason, I'm saying the one thing you cannot say about this is that I'm lying or I'm telling a story about this because it exists and it's true. It's actually a really good thing that we do this, that we do censor ourselves. It's a great thing that we censor ourselves. You know what I mean? Because again, priority one is happiness and peace in our home. And every single day. Now, I would love to hear how women censor themselves. Now, again, I don't dare cross over into telling women what they think. So I would love to hear from women that may want to come on as a guest and let's talk about it. What are areas where you feel like you have to censor yourself and cite examples like the ones I cited today? You know, like cite examples because I don't see women, right? I don't see women hesitating telling you what you want, what they want. Women will tell you absolutely what she wants. You take her, she's been begging you to take her to the theater on Broadway. She's been begging you, I want to go to the theater on Broadway. Let's go to the theater on Broadway. Let's go to the theater on Broadway. And one night you get some tickets to a play, and it's over there in something New Jersey. Let me tell you something. She's gonna let you hear it that play was not the one in New York. She's gonna make her feelings. She's gonna let you know her feelings. That's not what I asked for. That's not what I wanted. And as men, we don't have the ability to just be like, well, take it and be grateful. We don't get that. The woman will look at us dead in the face, tell us what she wants, and if we don't give us what she wants, she's gonna keep on, keep on, keep on. Like, no, that's not it. And then remind you that wasn't it. You know what I mean? I'll never forget. I'll never forget when I was younger. It got to a point, I was in a relationship, and it got to a point where If a gift wasn't a ring, like a wedding ring, an engagement ring, she was not happy. She hated it, right? So one Christmas comes around, I wasn't ready yet. One Christmas comes around and I go out and I buy her all this amazing, cool stuff. Amazing, like really nice. I went all out from jewelry to this, that. I went all out for her. And I remember her sitting there, opening it, gift by gift, gift by gift. And I noticed that she would just kind of put the box off to the side. And I'm like, shit. So finally she looked at me and she goes, nah, I just thought you were gonna get me a ring. It's not a ring. Flat out. Flat out. And I was like, wow. In that moment, I'm thinking to myself, see, only a woman can do that. Men can't do that, man. We cannot. Not if we want to preserve peace and happiness in our home. Not at all. We can't look at something that you got us and you bought us. I'll never forget there was a I wanted a North Face jacket. I want to know better yet. I'll tell you this part about it first. There's a meme, right? Maybe I'll add it to my down below. There's a meme and it's Cookie Monster. And Cookie Monster's sitting there and he's opening up a box. And when he opens the box, it's a box of crackers. And he just looks at her. Like you could tell on his face, like, yo, do you even know me? I'm Why are you buying me a box of crackers? Do you even know me? Like he's looking at her with his face of disgust, like, yo, what the hell? In the next frame, she's sitting with her head down, like, you hate it. And in the frame after that, Cookie Monster's rubbing her shoulder. No, baby, I love it because you gave it to me. And that, my friends, is what men do all the time. That's what we do. That's an ability that we have. That's an ability that women have that men do not have. Let's flip that around. I buy her, she's Cookie Monster. I buy her a box of crackers. She makes that face and then proceeds to throw the box at me and look at me like, yo, you don't even know me. Do you even love me? You don't care about me. What is this bullshit? Are you kidding me? Flat out. Flat out. She will not hesitate to let me know that guess what, buddy? This isn't it. This is not it. So you see the difference? A guy has to curb himself and say, oh, okay. Why? Because in that moment, Cookie Monster had two choices, right? Tell her how he feels, like this is bullshit, or oh, thank you for the effort, baby. I love you. It's cool, right? So now here's the deal. I was I was in a very similar situation at one point, and I felt just like Cookie Monster, man. I had been asking for a North Face jacket, and I remember it was a couple of weeks before Christmas. I had actually given her some money. I knew things were like a little tight or whatever. I had actually given her some money, and I was like, okay, cool. Now there's no real excuse for me not to get what I want because I know she has the cash for it. Well, come, come Christmas, I open up a box and it says triple fat goose. I open up this jacket. Yo, great. Just the perfect. Great jacket. When I tell you, one of the best jackets to this day, one of the best jackets I've ever had in my life. I could walk out in 0 degree weather and stay warm. It was phenomenal. But it was not what I had asked for. It was not. Yo, I was inside, I was livid. I was pissed. I was like, yo, I don't ask for shit. And there's one time that I'm asking for something. This is the shit that I got to deal with. I was pissed. What did I do? Now some of you be like, Mike, well, you're a sucker. You should have said how you really feel. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the truth is, man, in that moment, I had to pick. And I said, you know what? Today I choose happiness. Today I choose peace. I'm just gonna look at her and say, hey, oh, thank you. And rock that coat like if it was the best thing ever. It's not worth, it wasn't worth my sanity. Right? It was not worth my sanity. It spoke volumes. It spoke volumes to me. Don't get me wrong. Like, yo, you don't care enough to listen. You're just not paying attention. What's going on here? But in that moment, I had to choose. And I'll be honest, I chose happiness. I chose sanity. I chose peace in my house, right? And the truth is, guys do it every single day. And again, I know right now there's like women that are going to listen to this saying, "Oh, but we." That's like the weakest argument. But what about is literally the weakest argument. We're not talking about that. We'll address that. I have plenty of time to address how women do this, how they censor themselves, how they may think you're fat, but they don't they tell you you're handsome and amazing, or how this and that. I get it, and I would love to hear it. I'll love to hear it. I can't wait for people to drop in the comments, share, and let me know what their thoughts are, even in my inbox. But the truth is, this time around, we're talking about men, guys. I would love to hear from you, man. I would love to hear from you. Let's let them know the truth. Let's let them know the truth. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you anything. It just let us know the truth. How many guys are walking around, right? And you know, their girl is giving them sex once, twice, once a week, right? And it's because she doesn't feel sexy, right? She doesn't feel this, she doesn't feel that. So what do we have to do, right? We have to make sure that everything we do is with the ebb and flow of her, how she's feeling. Let's make her feel sexy. Let's help her clear her mind. Let's help her get into that into a mode where she feels good about herself, right? Cool. Truth is, do you want to do that? No. Truth is, let's not censor ourselves and say for a minute, I don't give a shit. This is why men watch porn. Because the porn that they're watching is not worried about, did you warm me up properly? Did you kiss me? Do I look fat? Do I feel? No, that's why. And then when a woman will look at you and be like, why don't you watch it with me? I'm like, I don't watch it with you for the same reason that, let's put it this way. When you're watching a porn, you get to what you want and you finish, you're done. You're out of there. It's a quick hit. It's not like me having to take your feelings into consideration, the way you look into consideration, making you feel sexy. See, those steps right there are why a lot of guys turn to porn. Because they're like, I don't want, not right now. Maybe, a couple nights a week, I would love that with my wife. Yeah, take care of her. And we're great. And it's amazing. But then there's a lot of times where I don't want that shit. I want a quick hit and be out. I just want to get this physical release and I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And people need to understand that that's part of us. That's even part of people censoring. You know what I mean? Like you'll see guys, and I'm going to talk about this with Dr. Christine Raphael, man. This is going to be a good topic coming up. We're going to be talking about sexuality, um, the do's and don'ts, what's taboo, and what men crave and won't ask for, what men think how women are going to react affects what they want sexually and things like that. She has a lot of great insight. She talks a lot about she meets with a lot of different clients, so she has a lot of insight when it comes to that. So I can't wait to hear her. She's already blown my mind with a couple of really crazy statistics, but that's for another day. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time and hanging out with me for a little bit. This has been the Hopeful Romantic Podcast, the Hopeful Romantic M.A.N. Podcast. And I am your host, Mr. Dropping Dimes, aka the Hopeful Romantic, aka the feminist with chauvinist tendencies. And I want to thank everybody and let you guys know, hey man, you missed me on Facebook Live, you missed me on YouTube. That's cool. Yo, take me with you. Take me with you, man. I'm on Spotify, iHeart. You can find me on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon. What do you call it? And soon iTunes. You can find me on all those platforms. Put me a listen. Um, hey, and here's my Dropbox, my inbox. You can hit me at MANDROPNDIMES, man dropping dimes 420 at gmail.com. I'll put that down below. Man dropping dimes and dimes 420 at gmail.com. That way, yeah, I'll put that up. I'll put that down for you guys so you guys can send me your questions in the inbox. Yo, don't be afraid to comment down below, man. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm full of shit, if you think, nah, that's not true, if you think your husband is the exception to the rule, yo, let me know down below. Definitely drop some comments. I would love to interact and find out how you guys really feel, you know? Don't hesitate to share, to like, and to pass it on. And once again, I want to thank everybody on a Monday night for being here with me. Again, just to close it out, this has been the Hopeful Romantic M.A.N. podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Underscore Dropping Dimes, aka the Hopeful Romantic himself, aka this feminist with chauvinist tendencies. And I am out of here. Take it easy, people.